sensations again. I can live those feelings again. And then I can start interacting with them. You understand? Somebody insults me. I can self-remember when I insulted somebody else. I can go through all that. And I say that how do I expect somebody to, what do you call, behave with me when I have already behaved like this with somebody else? So that is a very lower form of self-remembering, but it's still self-remembering. Mm-hmm.
To clarify, electrical energy comes from the prana, which is to breathe. But electrical energy from food is not the source. The source of electrical energy is the breathing. Air. Is that from food we cannot get electrical energy?
We can. Why I talked about digestion of food, motor electricity, reflex electricity. You were not here in the morning?
I'm trying to clarify. I got the electrical energy coming from air.
The quality of electricity from air is better than the quality of electricity from food.
That's why I'm getting the clarification.
Yeah, the quality is better. Right? Electricity is electricity. There's motor electricity, reflex electricity, and then there's sex energy. Speed of sex energy is fastest. Then reflex electricity, and then motor electricity.
Well, it's not in our hands to control how much this electricity we consume. Or if we are in USA, we have the more energy. If we are in some other country, we have the more electricity or more positive, and we have.
See, it is in our hands how we eat our food.
Yeah.
Can you understand?
Yeah, food is fine, but
Yeah.
air.
Why? If we are practicing rhythmic breathing,
Yeah.
then we are, what do you call, now when you're doing a pranayam, you're doing it consciously.
Right.
Of course, on TV, some of them are worse than mechanical also. I don't know what they are doing on TV, right? It's terrible, right? But when you're doing the pranayam, you can be conscious of the pranayam. And you can be conscious in all the four centers. That is, in the thinking, I can allow myself to know more about the pranayam. That is, the very action of the pranayam is giving me some new knowledge. Please try to understand, this is self-knowledge. It is not coming from the book. It is self-knowledge, right? I can feel the pranayam, right? I can feel that it is changing something depressive within me, right? Or I may have a revenge knot against her. I can feel the pranayam touching that knot. So I can, on the feeling level, so many things are happening with that pranayam, right? Then on the instinctive level, right? So the pranayam will have, it may have an effect on my hunger. It may have an effect on my thirst. It may have an effect on the sensitivity of my skin. So at the instinctive level, it is having a certain effect. So it's having on the intellectual level, the emotional level, the instinctive, that is the sensational level, and also on the muscles, the moving part of the body. The moving is not just the hands and feet. So I'm doing one pranayam, right? So I'm different people will, you see, your whole class is doing the pranayam, but different people will be extracting more or less from the pranayam. Now, supposing I've seen a movie yesterday and I'm doing the pranayam. This actress was going there and there. Okay, then I'm not extracting anything from the pranayam. It may have some health benefit, which also will be very negligible, but really I'm not doing anything. I'm just mechanically. So you have to, the pranayam, when I'm intellectually involved with the pranayam, when I'm in love with the pranayam from the feeling level, then the feeling which I get is I'm doing it for the first time, even though I've come to your class 100 times. Can you Get what I'm trying to say? As if I'm doing it for the first time. This feeling is what is called as abhyas. Abhyas. That I'm thinking it, I'm feeling it, I'm sensing it, and in my muscles, I am moving it. In all the four, this thing, I'm working with that pranayama at that time. Then I'm extracting more. So each person will extract according to his capacity. Then just even 2 minutes of the pranayama will teach me so much. Will teach me so much. Right? But I'm in a hurry to go somewhere. Then many people, if you see, they're watching the news and doing because they have to go to the stock market. Before that, you have to watch the news. So you do your pranayama, but it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. That's it.
How can you align all four things? And that was my question coming up for asking that. How can you get into that absent mind? When you do pranayama, like how can you get it that you reflect everything you feel?
I don't understand what you're saying.
I mean, we have
ગુજરાતીમાં બોલો ને.
આપણું મગજ કઈ રીતે તમને ફીલ થાય કે હું આ મોશનમાં અને હું બધું મને ફીલ થાય છે કે જ્યાં પ્રાણાયામ કરો છો I can feel it. Because mind is just ભાગે. So a mind, how can you bring it there?
That is why I gave what do you call it? You use a candle. You use a candle and hold the candle inside.
Because you keep saying that this monkey is saying it just keeps jumping anywhere, everywhere. Because we are living in this world such a way.
Yeah, Krishna tells Arjuna, it is easier to tame the wind than to tame this monkey. Right? So still Krishna says that with abhyas or vairagya, say it can be done. And he says, and if you read Vivekanand, and don't think Vivekanand's monkey was quiet. Vivekanand was in deep turmoil, right? But he says, even if you stake your life on it and it does not quieten down the world, life is lived worthily. Okay, you get it? Vivekanand said that if it takes a lifetime to quieten this monkey up here, and you stake your whole life on it, and somehow it doesn't work out, that monkey, still it has been a life really lived well. You know what he's trying to say. It is still worth it. That is all.
Yesterday we were talking about we were studying the ego, and you asked the way how do we study the ego, and then you say let's study the ego. So then we were talking about the six patterns.
Right.
Greed, desire, anger, to be hypnotized, jealousy, /envy, and intoxication. What does to be hypnotized and intoxication? What do those mean? I think hypnotized, we can also use the word mesmerized.
The word Gurdjieff uses is identification. Mohit thi. What do we call Mohit in English? No. Mesmerized or attracted. But he's in control of that person. You know the story of Vishwamitra and Menka. So Vishwamitra was sitting in meditation and he was becoming more and more powerful. Right? And the Lord of the heavens, his name was Indra. Of course, all this is symbolic. Indra is the Lord of the senses. Right? And the senses are always attracted to something outside. They love to live life outside. They don't love to live life inside. Right? And if somebody sits in meditation, then the senses are going to be useless. All their attraction, so they disturb the meditation. So all this is given in what you call Indian mythology, that the Lord of the heavens does not like anybody sitting in meditation. So what he does, he sends beautiful girls to disturb the meditator. Right? So he sends one fairy, her name is Apsara. Right? Her name is Menka, to disturb Vishwamitra's meditation. Now Vishwamitra had become very powerful. And if he opens his eye, then Menka will be burned to ashes. right? So she tells Indra that I am not going to go this way. So then Indra says, we'll make a setting. We'll make a setting. So he calls the god of the wind. And he says that when he opens her eyes, exactly at that time you take away her clothes. Right? Exactly at that time you take, but still she's not satisfied. So then he calls the god of the smells. And he says, exactly at that time you make all the flowers around Vishwamitra giving off sweet, this is moha. Can you understand? To get hypnotized, giving off sweet smells. Right? So Vishwamitra is sitting in that meditation, and then she comes and starts dancing in front of him. And just as he opens his eyes, the wind god comes and takes away her clothes. The god of the juices, he comes and puts juice in all the flowers and the flowers. And in that moment, he falls in love with her. This is, can you now understand what it means? What do you call hypnotized? Hypnotized. He falls in love with her, right? So that is in the Anahat chakra.
And the other one, intoxication.
Intoxication. Supposing I do a good deed. When we were kids, we did that nursery rhyme, no? Little Jack Horner sat in a corner, right? Eating his Christmas pie. He put in his thumb, pulled out a plum and said, what a good boy am I. Right? So when you hear people talking, they're talking, I went here, I went there, I did this, I did that. What are they saying? He put in his thumb, pulled out a plum and said, what a good boy am I. Or if somebody has given a big donation somewhere, you say, what a good boy am I. Intoxication. Intoxicated with the ego. Intoxicated with the ego. Egoism, you can write. Singing your own song. Yeah, but there are two kinds of songs. Some people sing a positive song, but some people sing a very, what do you call, painful song. Then everybody runs away. Nobody wants to listen to anybody else's pain. And if people don't listen, they feel bad that that person has no sympathy. Yeah? Okay, what do we want to talk about now?
That's the morning. Yeah, how? So we are not expressing the anger. When you suppress that, what you
No, I was talking about ego.
if you are not expressing the ego, you are how do you sublimate, build up?
There was a word for it.
Yeah, you're talking about the anger when you don't express.
Right.
It makes.
Question Maharaya. You look at throughout around you, see how people work here, how system works. Okay, it's like stepping on anybody's toes and how to come up, how to come up, how to come up. It doesn't matter which way you're gonna hurt somebody's ego or somebody's nature. And you see, it's too much egoism. It's built up. And then you have some ego and that bigger ego clash with it and becomes more and more bigger and bigger. So my question is, you would rather go away from the bigger ego and kind of not get into contact with to get more up. So isn't that means like you are getting rid of your small ego? That was my question.
No, I think you said the bread, holding the
Those
bread.
kind of things,
Like if you keep
like
compressing
avoiding the
string, someone is
situation,
string.
avoiding the situation.
See, better than expressing negativity, avoid the situation. But be right in your understanding. By running away from something, you cannot be free of something. One sannyasi in my ashram, right? So he says that every time I go to eat, this lady, she calls me all kinds of names, right? So you tell this lady to shut up. So So I said that, why did you come in the ashram? Did you come for Shanti or did you come for Mukti? So I said, if I tell her to shut up, what will you get? Shanti. But you will not be free, or tomorrow somebody else is going to say something else. You see? But if you rise above it, you will get Mukti, freedom. Do you want freedom or do you want peace? Peace and freedom cannot go together. You decide what you want. The ego wants peace. The soul wants freedom. Right? અહમને શાંતિ જોઈએ છે અને જીવને મુક્તિ જોઈએ છે. આપણે શું જોઈએ છે? આપણે જો if we are looking for peace and happiness, be very sure it's the ego. Be very sure. But if you are looking for freedom, mukti, moksha, the soul, both cannot go together. If you want peace and freedom, best place is the graveyard. Peace and no stress. Otherwise, life is stress. There is no running away from stress. Life is, she is going to call me something. If I step on her toe, she is not going to let me go. Right? She is going to call me something. Life is this. Now, do I want to run away from this life or do I want to accept this life and rise above it? Be free of it.
So when you rise above it, you don't respond to it. So
When you rise above it, you look inside. You look inside. You look inside. My aim is freedom. My aim is freedom. Moksha.
So when you're constantly exposed to the same situation, you still do that.
Yes, because you have to be responsible if you want to face life. And the only responsibility is whatever the situation, it cannot come to me if I have not invited it.
In practice, we should not show any reaction.
Definitely not.
So what's the difference between this and that one? Meaning, don't be.
See, if you want peace, you'll run away from the situation, but the anger will remain inside. Right? But if you observe the anger, you be free from the anger, then you got freedom from the anger. Which one do you want? Right?
But from an observant, it's the same thing.
From
the third person observation is the same thing.
Yeah, the third person should not know. Otherwise, we'll make mukti also something of the ego also. We don't want to tell it to anyone. This is our own personal inner journey. That I have so much of anger lying within me. I want to be free of that anger. That is, anger is binding me. I am bound by that anger. Only if somebody insults me will I be aware of that anger. Otherwise, it's lying in peace, quietude inside. But if she insults me, it comes out. And when it comes out, I realize it was already lying within me. She is not at fault. And because we cannot see the invisible side of life, we only see what is happening from birth to death. We never see what is happening from death to birth. We don't have the eyes to see it.
In both ways, I do not react. The only thing is that one way I convince myself to kill that anger inside me or overcome it. The other one, no, I'm coward. Never.
Coward, somebody else will call you a coward. I am not a coward.
No. I mean, choosing the peace rather than freedom. Both of them, we don't react.
In peace, I run away from the situation. Or I tell her to shut up, I want peace. Can you understand? Right? Once I went to drop my guru somewhere. And I said, there's too much noise over here. Why don't you sit somewhere else? So he said, don't worry, I'll close my ears. So, this is a different thing. Now, you cannot run away from any situation in life. That situation will come in some other form to meet you. And this we have to understand. What we don't understand is that this is my line of birth to death. And this is filled with events, one, two, three, four thousands of events, one after the other. The day is nothing but a sequence of events. But behind the scenes, my soul has asked for these events. I don't realize it. The ego does not want the event. Can you get what I'm trying to say? The soul has sent you a letter, an invisible letter, that you please insult me. If you insult me, I become aware of the anger, and one chain link on the soul is broken. But the minute you insult me, the soul has gone to sleep. He's had a peg of whiskey and he's sleeping in the bar. Can you understand? And who is in charge? The ego is in charge. And the ego says, I won't take this sitting down, lying down. Who are you to? Can you get what? Again, another event in life comes. Who has invited the event? The soul. Why has he invited the event? For his freedom. But who comes in place of the soul to face the event? The ego. And this happens all the time. And we must step behind and see this. See this. That it is this guy who is messing up everything, the ego. Can you understand? The soul wants to be free of anger because there are 100 units of anger lying within me. So the soul sends you a letter, please insult me. I think you have insulted me. I cannot see what has happened behind the scenes. Can you understand?
Yeah, I'm talking in the practice what happens. Somebody insult me,
Right?
okay? Run away is something, or I react, or I run away from that. Don't show my anger. Don't react. The other one, I don't react. The only thing that internally I have absorbed.
Yes, that internally now you separate from it and start observing it. And in life, always top it up. Can you understand? So if she insults me by calling me an idiot, right? Top it up. Yeah, you're true. My wife also calls me an idiot. Always top it up. Right? Make some salad dressing over there. So there is no reaction and it gives you space to look inside. And you've taken care of the outer situation.
Should we try to remove ourselves from situations that are not good for us?
So that's exactly what people say.
Because if I'm going to be, do I want to remove myself from abusive relationships, for example?
See what is happening in the invisible world, we don't know. Supposing you go to meet a friend who is ill. What is the first thing the monkey says? Come on, come on. I don't want this illness. The first thing the monkey says. Now, in that, has he asked for the illness? Can you understand? Everything, see, when God made the world, the first law he made in Vedanta, they call it as Dvait. Dvait means duality. Everything is dual. Dual. Right? That means if you go to the supermarket and ask for orange juice, he'll give you apple juice free. This is called Dvait, duality, the law of duality. Can you understand? So you go to a temple and you say, God, give me happiness. What are you asking for? What are you asking for? Happiness or suffering? Because he says, I cannot give happiness alone. It has to go with suffering. Here, everything is given in pairs. That is called Dvait. Can you understand? Nobody knows this. Otherwise, there would be no line in any temple. All the temples would be without any money. You get it? So each moment I am asking from life, each moment I am asking that life should go my way, the way I want it to go. Even if my son is leaving the home deep down or somewhere, even if I'm not conscious of it, I'm asking that nothing should happen to him on the way. Can you see this? So every moment I'm in this continuous process of desiring. And here everything has an opposite effect. You desire one thing, you get the opposite, because this is the law of life. Everything goes in pairs. Can you get what I'm trying to say? Now, a person who realizes this, he understands this. He says that, is there a state where I can be free of desiring? Then I can be living for the first time. Otherwise, living is nothing but desiring. From here, I want to go to Maryland. I hope I reach in time, right? Can you understand what I'm trying to say? Each moment I'm creating desire. Each moment I'm sowing the seed of karma. Right? And then I suddenly say, what is this? Am I a machine to create desires? Is there a state which is free of desire? Then I move from duality to something else, to a higher state, which we call as Advait, not duality. We don't call it as oneness. We call it as not duality. It's risen above, risen above. But in that risen above, there is no reaction. When happiness comes, he enjoys the happiness, but he doesn't ask for its repetition tomorrow. When pain comes, he does not throw dislike upon the pain. He does not say, I don't want this pain. This pain has come, I will suffer it voluntarily. Can you understand? And even pain is a very funny thing. If a person does not suffer involuntarily, he says, I will go to this person. He doesn't suffer only. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? So pain will look for something else. Sorrow will look for something else. But why does sorrow come in our life? Why does pain come in our life? Because we have asked for something. And in this world, whatever you ask for, you get that, or you definitely get the opposite of that. Because you can never ask for one thing. You're always asking for two. This is the law of life. This is the law of the game. The ace of trumps will always kill the ace of hearts. This is the law of the game. Even the two of trumps kills the ace of hearts. The law of the game. Right? So people don't know what they're doing. They're asking all the time, please give me this, please give me that, please give me this. And they don't understand that in that very asking, they're asking for the opposite. Because everything goes in pairs. So if you want to show me a way to be free of the opposites, show me a way to be freedom. But the ego, it always wants to move from one opposite to the other. Here there is suffering. Let's run away from suffering. Let's go for a holiday somewhere on the sea or something where there is no suffering. But that doesn't change anything. Again, the pendulum swings and it goes here. Again, the pendulum swings and it goes here. And
And what about if somebody taking, I understand totally right that you are right, if I'm desiring something, so I should control that one. But somebody is taking my property, somebody is hurting me, what should I do?
Thank him. No, you.
What?
Thank him.
Thank him?
Yeah.
Do you think you thank the people, they stop it?
is it on? Yeah. My guru used to have a saying, I told you to be free of anger. I didn't tell you to stop acting angry. So, first of all, be free of the reaction. Bring in understanding, right? Understanding. And then you deal with him in whichever way you're supposed to deal with it life. You play the game of life, right? You can't run away from life. So, but want to be free of reaction. That is our first aim. I don't want to deal with him in a reaction. I can always pause for a few seconds. I can always pause for a few minutes. In few minutes, nothing goes away. I can always go to the bathroom and come back. In the stock market, we have a saying, when you passionately want to buy one share, then go to the bathroom. Right? Then come back. By then, all the passion has gone away. You see? So just now you drop the passion, you're free of the reaction. Now intelligently find a way of telling it. A new intelligence will come in. A new intelligence will come in.
Not to react, I think we need more awareness.
Lot of consciousness.
Can we increase it by
Pranayam will help you. Pranayam will help you to what you call face that situation. Pranayam will help you not to react. Pranayam will help you to remember which is the right intelligence to deal with that situation. That intelligence in yoga is called as vivek, right conscience.
Is there any particular pranayama that, sorry.
See, you do Bhastrika. You do Bhastrika. What is Bhastrika? That even I know what it is. What is Bhastrika?
I know how to do it, but I don't know the meaning of it.
Bhastrika. Bha means, what does the word Bha mean? Light. Light. To bring light. To bring light on the situation. Right? When we react, we are not shining the torch. When we react, we are not shining the torch. It's in darkness, it's mechanical. Can you understand? So you have done your Bhastrika in the morning, and then if you react in the day, then Bhastrika is useless. You're not bringing light to the situation. Right? To bring light to the situation. Right? When you bring light to the situation, so many things, then many times you'll find a way out of the situation without any violence. Can you see? Without getting angry, without getting aggressive. The answer was right there, but we couldn't see it because we were moving in darkness. See, many times it is not the looking for the solution. It is allowing the solution which is already there to come to you. You just have to get the kachra out of the way, the rubbish out of the way. This logical mind has puts too much rubbish in between. Okay? You just put it on the side. Right? So, first thing is to bring light to the situation.
I've read this phrase, expansion of consciousness, but I don't really understand.
It means Brahma. The meaning of the word Brahma is expansion of consciousness. Right? The expanding consciousness is Brahma. The penetrating consciousness is Vishnu. And the dissolving consciousness is Shiva. Right? So consciousness has three aspects. Three aspects. These are known as Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh.
What does that mean? Expansion, penetrating, and dissolution?
She insults me. Now, I throw light on the situation, it is expanding consciousness. But I penetrate into the thing that she did not insult me, I invited her to insult me. That is the penetrating consciousness. And my ego wants to react, I dissolve the ego, that is the dissolving consciousness. That you understand, Brahma, it is not Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, you go and pray to them in a temple. What does that? It has no meaning at all. Absolutely no meaning at all. If you can't live them in your normal life, what is the point in praying to them? And of course, now that we've said, when you pray, you get the opposite of what you pray for.
I think everybody gets scared of praying.
Okay. Expanding consciousness, the penetrating consciousness, the dissolving consciousness.
But it's the same consciousness.
In doing different things. different things. Yeah.
The social aspect that the power of prayer is in healing, or is it just saying that for you it has said?
Right prayer is very powerful. Right prayer is very powerful. The Emperor Akbar wants a child. No child for his. The Mughal Empire in the time of Akbar was at its peak. He was the most powerful Mughal emperor, right? Everything was in prosperity at that time. So you can imagine Akbar's ego, right? You cannot pray unless you come to a state of nothingness. If I am something, I cannot pray. I cannot ask. And again, there is a technique for asking, but I don't have time to go in that technique. So, but then he'll say, you do it yourself, you are something. Can you get what I'm trying to say? So you have to come to a state of nothingness, total nothingness. So Akbar walks barefoot, he's the emperor. He walks barefoot to this Sufi saint, Sheikh Salim Chisti, and he bows down fully to him, that you please grant me a son. Now, he's asking from a state of nothingness. Right? This nothingness in Bhakti Yoga is called as the Das Parampara. In India, there was a whole parampara of, and they have their ashrams in different places, right? The Das Parampara. So they wouldn't write Swami Chaitanya, they would write Chaitanya Das. And they won't write Swami in front of them. It's the Das Parampara, right? So he's saying, I am nothing. And in that state of I am nothing, if the request can be made properly, then the answer comes. So the basic thing of prayer is that first you come to a state of nothingness. I can't do anything. And this is not an intellectual state. It has to be an emotional state, like you fall in love with someone. Right? See, the whole first chapter of the Gita is the basics of what he wants to talk about. But when you come to the second chapter, at one point Arjun says, I am nothing. I am nothing. Karpanya dosho apahata swabhava. Pruchhami tvam dharma sammuda cheta. Says, my whole, what do you call, being, my whole being, krupanta, karpanya doshi, krupan doshti, right? I have become nothing. I'm worse than a beggar. He's not saying I'm a beggar. He's a king. He's a king. Can you get it? But he's saying, I have now nothing left in me, nothing to argue, nothing to say. The boat is empty. Bhikshu, empty the boat. Now there's nothing. Karpanya dosho apahat swabhava. This nothingness has taken my being. Apahat apharan kari lidu chhe. It has, what do you call it, taken my whole being. Right? Pruchhami tvam dharma sammuda. I'm asking to you, what is the right path for me? What is the right path for me? Can you?
It's a complete submission. It's an
It's an inner state of, and in that inner state of nothingness, when I ask, this whole universe is a membrane, elastic membrane. And when my asking goes and touches that membrane, something comes back from there. Something comes back from there. That is the power of prayer. But the power of prayer, first we have to become nothing. If I can pray, I cannot pray. The I dissolves, then prayer is possible.
And the fact that temples have such a hold, is it?
That's a business.
No, no, it's really a business, but is it to maintain some kind of community?
Yeah, it may be. I mean, that's not our topic of the day.
No, I'm just saying, I mean, it has such a prominent place in our culture.
Yeah.
It's not only to go for asking.
Yeah, but that they take care of all that. We are talking about freedom.
So, would you finally, acquire that freedom.
Not finally.
No, but when you are free from the insult, for example, that the way that I interpret that is that next time that she insults me, I will not see it as an insult. Like, it will not be an insult. It will not. I will not react because it's not an insult.
See, one of the techniques which I used to do, I would always hum the last line. And this helped me a lot because every word comes from Omkar. We did not talk about sound. One day we'll talk about sound. How the descent of sound from Omkar to the words we speak. There's a whole system of descent, right? So, supposing she says, "You're an idiot," right? So I say, "Idiot, T," and from that I'll make a sound inside. So I always used to hang on to the last sound. And in that, my reaction would go. Can you get it? Suppose you say you're a fool. I'll take the last sound, right? And hum it inside. Right? And in this way, now she's saying you are an idiot. In that very vibration, she's telling me so many things which I can't hear because I'm in reaction. Where the idiot is coming from, what she is suffering from, why she has to call me this kind of a name, whether she's holding some psychological wound inside from which she's talking. Can you see? This is expansion of consciousness. But as long as I'm reacting, there is no Brahma, expansion of consciousness. I expand. It's free of reaction. I throw light on the situation. I see that just like that, she cannot say such words. Something must be painful inside that she has brought out something. Something she's trying to hide inside, she has brought out something. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? And then understanding comes. A moment of deep understanding. A moment of deep compassion comes. And compassion doesn't come automatically. You don't always live in the state of compassion. You live in the state of awareness. But when this happens, suddenly you rise into the state of compassion. You feel for her that she's holding these kind of psychological wounds inside which make her repeat such language. Can you get it?
But we are in an age of Kali, is it not? And therefore, we are surrounded.
Sir.
There is a Vatavaran.
So what? All the more chances of freedom. See,
I am struggling.
Life is not an ends. Life is a means to something higher. It's what you say. It's not an ends. Do you want to see? Try to understand time. Civilization starts. Less and less is happening in more and more time. Right? So supposing you wanted to go from New York to California, you would go by wagon or something and you'd reach after 3 months or something. Right? So less is happening in more time. As the civilization is progressing, more and more is happening in less time. What will happen in the next 5 years has not happened in the last 5,000 years. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? Now, this is signifying something. This is signifying that something is going to die. This civilization is now come on the verge of death. When man is young, more happens in less time. In 1 hour, I can do many things when I'm young. But as I grow old, less happens in more time. In the whole day, I feel I've not achieved anything. This is telling me something that death is around the corner now because time is expanding, right? And in so much time, I can only do so much. Whilst when I was a kid, I used to do this, I used to do that. Whole day, I would be doing something. Can you get what I'm? So in man, time slows down. In civilization, time becomes very, very fast. And that signals that something is there at the end. It also signals that this is the time where if we make a little effort, we can be free. Because everything is conducive to that spiritual effort. I call it the popcorn effect. Means if one person makes an effort, then many popcorn start. Right. If one person comes to the yoga center, then many people will start coming because it's the popcorn. One popcorn has to first burst into the pot. Then the others start bursting. It's called the popcorn effect. Right? So things are at a stage now where many souls, if they want, they can jump into freedom. But if you start complaining about the situation, if you start finding fault with the situation, there is TV, there is mobile phone, there is this, there is that. It is there. That's the end of the matter. Now, either use it as a stepping stone to jump higher or get hypnotized by it and fall down. It is up to you. This mobile phone is not going to change. It's going to get better and better. Can you understand? Today I may say movies on it. Tomorrow I don't know what it's going to do. You get it? So there is no space for complaining. We want freedom. And this is the best time where masses of people can jump to that freedom. Because everything is very conducive.
So a sage person made the observation, I respect that we are now beholden to machines. Previously, man could work the machine, but now machines will work the machine.
That is one side of the coin.
What's the other side?
The other side of the coin, you see the intelligence of children. When I lived with my guru, I didn't live with him, but I used to go every day to the guru. You see, you ask one question, the guru will give you an answer after 6 months. You have to work for the answer. You work for the answer. Today, the children's mind, they are not ready to work for the answer. My son will tell me, get rid of all that crap. You tell me just now what I have to do. So the progress is that now the brain can absorb directly. My brain was not ready for that. My son's brain is ready for that. Now, today's brain does not need a guru. Gurus are obsolete.
I'm sorry,
Today, they don't need a guru. They can just understand directly. You tell them once, they understood it. I'm shocked at their level of understanding. Pages which took me years to understand, they understand in one shot. You may agree or not agree, but this is the fact of the situation. It's the fact of the situation. So maybe on one side, man is becoming more mechanical. Other side, new brain cells are opening up, which were not open till yesterday. And those brain cells are giving a different, aspect to his understanding totally. Right? So many things which we have talked about in the last 3 days. Just imagine, is it possible 50 years ago to be able to talk about the same things? Not possible. I can say, you put in food, this is digest. Where have I got my words from? Magnetism, reflex, electricity. These are all words of science. I'm using words of science to explain something. It becomes so easy to explain using. Now, 100 years ago, these words were not there. Now, how does a guru explain what is motor electricity? How is reflex electricity? He has to give examples. And then if that dumb person called the disciple understands or doesn't understand. Today, you just tell the children directly and they understand. I mean, you can see this. The brain has changed. Phenomenally, the brain has changed. Huh? The brain has changed. Today, the training which is being given in Montessori's and in this thing, how to use the brain in different, not get, caught in the language of the, monkey. They're trying to open up other aspects of the brain. Just a few days ago, I was seeing children, they close their eyes and they can name the cards, they can name the colors, they can read the book, they read the whole book blindfolded. By smell, they read the book.
There's too much knowledge, less wisdom.
Doesn't matter. Knowledge rightly used brings wisdom faster. See, every stick will have two ends. Every stick will have two ends. It is which end we are looking at. Today, I'm looking at something dramatic happening. Many people are going to be free, yogically free. Many people are going to rise in consciousness. I mean, who is interested in these ideas? The very fact that you're sitting over here, that somebody is interested in these ideas.
But how can you say they don't need a guru? That's the point we need a guide, a comfort. That point I'm not able to resist.
Times have changed. If there is real desire inside, somebody will come and show you the path and go away.
Okay. So the traditional form
Actually, the very idea that the disciple finds the guru is wrong. The guru finds the disciple. The very idea is wrong. I cannot make a guru. The guru looks for me. The guru knows much beforehand. Bolo.
So I'm just diverting the topic again. So as of now, I was just thinking the soul and the spirit is one thing. But just today morning, you say that soul and the spirit is different thing.
Oh.
Like in the human, we only human has a spirit and not the animals. Like Atma is Atma. I was not
Atma is spirit.
Atma is spirit.
Atma is spirit.
What is soul? Jeep? No.
Chapter 3, Sutras 48 to 51. The difference between soul and spirit. I think chapter, I've taken away your Yoga Sutra. So I think chapter 3, 48 to 51, where Patanjali says, I haven't talked on Patanjali for years and years. So it's like, what does he calls spirit as sattva? What does he call soul? I've forgotten what he calls soul. The words I've forgotten.
Is it Brahman, Atman? Is it the religion?
Huh?
Brahman, Atman, is it the same as spirit and soul?
Brahman is consciousness.
Atman,
The quality of the Atman is consciousness. The quality of the Atman is consciousness.
Brahman is consciousness, Atman is quality of consciousness.
The Atman, what is the characteristic of the Atman? Sat, Chit, Anand. Chit is what? Consciousness. Chitta is mind, not Chit. Chitta is mind. Patanjali is talking about Chitta. But when we use the word Sat, Chit and Anand, we are saying consciousness. Consciousness. We are not saying Chitta. Okay? Can you get what I'm trying to say? Now, I'm not going into all the philosophy, just I'll give some basic. Our time is nearly over. Supposing this is a sun. We call this sun as Atman. Right? The Atman. It wants to experience life. So it sends out a ray of light. The ray of light. This is spirit. Spirit. It sends out a ray of light to experience life. This ray of light, as soon as it leaves the sun, the vibrations fall dramatically. The vibrations, this is very high vibration. Here it falls dramatically. Even though the light is of the sun. Right? Now, when the light leaves the sun, it has to wear clothes. It's not allowed to roam around without clothes. Right? So it is encased in a body. This light is encased in a body. This body is called as astral body. Astral body. Right? This astral body is made of planetary matter, planetary magnetism. Like the first thing we said from food, we take out is magnetism. Magnetism gives form. Now try to understand form. Supposing an architect wants to build this room. Before building this room, he will have a form in his mind. That form in his mind is an astral body. Can you understand? Then he will fill material into the form, cement and concrete, and he will fill material. The material comes from the earth. The form comes from the planets. That is why it is called astral. That is one of the things, right? So before there was, when your mother and father got together, a form came. The form was before mother and father. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? But the mother and father allowed cement and concrete, skin and bones and blood and all to be filled into the form. So the form could express itself. Now you understand what I'm saying? Huh? So the form was there before the mother and father. This form, why is it given a planetary body? Because it has come to experience. All experiences lie in the planets. I am angry, it is the matter of Mars which makes me angry. I am what you call crafty and what you call cunning, it is the matter of Mercury which makes me cunning. Can you now understand? I am a very generous person, it is the matter of Jupiter which makes me generous. I am a very introverted person, it is a matter of Saturn which makes me. So every experience which is possible in the human spectrum comes from the planets. So it says that you want to experience life, I give you a planetary body. This planetary body is called the astral body. This we call as soul, Jeev. This we call as soul, Jeev. Can you understand? This is spirit, this is soul. This soul journeys, the spirit never journeys. Spirit is never good, it is never bad. There is nothing like Shuddha Atma or Ashuddha Atma. If the soul is more mechanical, we can use the word Ashuddha. Ajiv Ashuddha Jeev. You understand what I'm trying to say? But the क्योंकि आत्मा शुद्ध छे कि अशुद्ध, it's all nonsense. Right? Now, this takes on a physical body. This takes on a physical, it looks for a mother and father. It takes two sets of DNA as a loan to express itself. There's nothing in the world like mother and father. It is just a loan of DNA which you have given to some soul. But we cannot see that side. We have no eyes to see form. We have only eyes to see material, cement, concrete. Can you get what I'm trying to say? And when it has five senses, this ray of light which has come, it goes out of the senses as attention. As attention. And it is through attention that the soul experiences life. It wants to experience life and return back to the spirit. But if it wants to return back to the spirit, it has to be free of the astral conditioning. But it increases the astral conditioning. So if I get angry on him, I have increased the conditioning of Mars. Right? I am a very good fellow, I have increased the conditioning of Jupiter. Can you understand? All sanskar is nothing but planetary. Right? So he's on this journey. Who is on this journey? The soul. That is why in Gujarati it is very easy. For attention and for soul we use the same. Taro jeev kya chotelo che. Right? We use the same word. In English it becomes a little difficult to express this. I can't say where is your soul stuck. It's not possible. In Gujarati we say jeev kya chotelo che. And in Gujarati we say, lakshan છે કે જીવ જ્યાં ચોટેલો છે ત્યાં જીવ બળે. Can you? But here it's difficult. But what I'm trying to say is that this is the difference between soul and spirit. The spirit never journeys. The spirit is there. But the spirit gives life. So when the child cries, it is at that moment when the spirit has entered. But till then the soul was around. The soul was around. Right?
So when person die, like soul
The soul goes in a different journey. Next time we'll talk about death. Okay.
Like good karma also is not good. I mean, good karma and bad karma, both the wills the soul and not let it go back to spirit. It will still be floating. For next life. Condition, yeah.
Which is next.
Te alad paritapa phala. What does Patanjali say? Te alad paritapa phala. Punya punya hetutva. At the time of sowing the seed, what was your hetu? What was your motive? Was it of punya, of rising in consciousness, or was it of apunya, falling in consciousness? Right? That will decide whether that seed will give you pain or pleasure. Pain or pleasure. Right? Now, many times the seed looks to give pleasure, but it can give more pain. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? The seed comes out, I get a lot of money. Now, whether that money is going to give me pleasure or pain is a different matter. You understand? It depends on what was the thought at the time of sowing. Te ala the paritapa phala, punya apunya hetutva. Next time we'll take all of Patanjali's sutras on karma. Beautiful sutras. Right? We'll stop over here. Right? Thank you. Thank you.
Topic is vast, time is less. See, now you understand. I want to bring Rajanji for a week or 2 months and stay with us. You get the taste of it. But after we leave today, this slowly coming down. And next year when I start again, these things then, oh, I'm already fixed. I cannot work on this date. That time I'm not available. This is the struggle we are facing. As I said before, also we used to in the temple and from morning till evening, and I was